Yeah, ultimately, this has nothing to do with like normal commercial air travel. What the fuck are you talking about?
Isn't that just darling? Let's hear from this psychopathic pervert. Who, by the way, is a super libertarian right winger. He just knows.
That's coming to you live, and I hope you guys are all having a fantastic one. Don't know what happened there. Accidentally restarted the broadcast. People are saying it's Boxing Day. Don't know what that means, but I suspect that is the case. It is Boxing Day. I'll take. I don't know what your words mean, Magic Man, but I'll take it. Anyway, folks, this is part of the broadcast where I tell you about my personal news about what's going on in the world of HasanAbi Piker. In between the time period where I press the stop streaming button and press the start streaming button. It's a day in England where they all box one another. Okay, that seems par for the course for the British. It's an oil bruv thing. Sells after Christmas Day mostly. Nice. Anyway, but yeah, folks, this is part of the broadcast where I tell you about my personal news about what's going on in the world of HasanAbi Piker in between the time period where I press the stop streaming button and press the start streaming button. And a lot has occurred in the world of HasanAbi Piker, except I just had like throbbing headaches and whatnot. And I think it's because I was just like balled up in a curl. I was curled up in a ball for the bro, your hairdo is ass compared to socialism. Okay, thank you. That's what I was doing for the most part. That's what I was doing after the stream for a couple hours. I don't know what it was, but it's all good. It's gone. It's subsided. But like from approximately 6:45 to 9:45, I had like insane crippling headaches. After that, I had some leftover food from leftover Sonnendong. And I did it. I did the damn thing. I went to bed. I slept a lot. Gators Daily, I'm retiring from Gators Daily. Thank you for all the support over the years. Gators Daily, I saw your post. One of this community's most prominent members on Twitter. Been on the Colbert Report twice, I think, right? Or the Colbert Show twice. Thank God you're live. No one uploads anything on Christmas, and I've been so bored. Yeah, that's like, I mean, that's what it is. That's what I'm here for, baby. You know, rain or shine, we grind, right? But yeah, I slept a lot. I slept a lot post stream, and I also slept a lot after I slept more. And I think I had a pretty decent amount of sleep, luckily. Woke up early, played some basketball this morning by myself, you know, ran some drills and shit. And it was pretty good. It was pretty good overall. I'm happy about it. What is this? Christmas is ruined. Whine about it. I was put on the naughty list by Whine About It. That's crazy that the Whine About It got 100,000 views in like 19 hours. That's crazy.
On.
What is this?
What?
Do you not know what I'm talking about?
No. Oh, you drama frog.
Yeah, it was supposed to be casual.
No, whatever. Casual.
Too
sorry.
dense.
Hasan.
Naughty.
Hasan is naughty.
Addicted
Yeah.
to Zins.
Addicted to Zins. Posts his package online. Tells his friends to look at it.
Ew.
He also, during Fear and, he put on his costume and he came in and he said, "You can see my dick in this." And I said, "Hasan, I'm not looking." And then he proceeded to hump the air and he said, "Look." And I said, "I'm not
true. I did not hump the air. Let the record show I did not hump the air, and that Cutie had bought us the clothes. Okay, and it wasn't just me. Will was there as well.
looking."
That's crass.
And then Will did the same thing. They both really wanted me to see their
You don't think it's
penises.
weird that Cutie's female friends are trying to make her look at their penises?
Or you mean her male friends?
Male
Her
friends.
male friends? Sorry, that is what I meant.
Yeah. Every time she gets back, I say, "You can't talk to those men anymore." And she says, "I need to for the money. You're financially broke. I need what Fear Ann gives me."
Yeah.
So now we just have a deal where she gives me a cut of the money she makes from Fear Ann,
And I can look at
she's
their
allowed
penises.
she's allowed to go.
Right to a fair trial. Yeah, Your Honor, my junk I am a misunderstood man. Okay, Your Honor, I am simply a misunderstood man. Let me tell you. Okay. I did not want to post my package. I actually wanted to post my gains, and I thought that it was rather shocking that people hyper focused on my package instead of my actual gains. But that's neither here nor there. This is some Steven Crowder sheet. Yeah. Who the fuck is going to believe you? I mean, pretty much every single person that watches the podcast knows. But yeah, you knew what you were doing. No, I wasn't thinking like that. It wasn't like that. You're wrong. All right. Well, I don't know why I'm on the naughty list.
Wait, can I have a cut?
You have to look at their penises.
This contemplation is going on too long.
This is crazy.
Actually, I had the biggest L.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Ludwig's horniness ruined Christmas. That was funny. Yeah, exactly. Ludwig must be on the naughty list because he was so horny for kissy poos that he like ruined the Christmas ornaments that Cutie was supposed to be purchasing.
Iron Mouse.
Iron Mouse.
Yeah, Ludwig's a real horn dog. I find it really funny that they're literally in the same house, and yet they're doing this podcast. Like, I know Maya's not there, but it's really odd that they are in the same house and yet they're recording separately. You know? That's interesting. Anyway, I disagree. I felt this peak moment from this week easily trumps last week's funny
We
episode.
don't have any Christmas decor.
Right.
So I go on and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to spoil myself. I'm going to buy nice stuff because I never buy nice stuff. I always get it from Michael's 50% off and it falls apart the next year.
Right.
And I don't have anything. So I'm on my phone and I'm hurrying. It's like 2 in the morning. And so I'm trying to get like next day shipping. I'm picking out all this stuff.
Where do you get nice stuff from?
Pottery Barn.
Balsam Hill. Yeah, which they supply to Pottery Barn. Yeah,
makes sense.
it's really nice fake trees and stuff like that. And
Found out why Amber Heard fans are coming in asking if you're going to cover Blake Lively. Some critter made a TikTok they semi-popped off on why the left and progressives aren't talking about it. And the comments just said you're a problem because you aren't covering it 24/7. It's just TikTok drama. So be prepared for bullshit lol. Got it. No, it's good that they called me out on this because I actually have an announcement. I am going to be I was planning on converting this channel to a what's her face? Was it Blake Lively? Amber Heard. I was going to turn this channel into an Amber Heard channel. Yeah, it's a real different direction that I foresee myself going this year. I think, there's a genocide happening. Israel just struck Sana'a, Yemen. There's numerous conflicts that are taking up space globally. Fairly important is what some nerds would say. But I think what I should be covering is Amber Heard. I think 2025 will be my year where I only talk about Amber Heard. Yeah, this is probably I'm gonna change my name from HasanAbi to Amber Alert, where I am going to exclusively talk about all of the latest things that are happening in Amber Heard's life. And like, for example, her best friend E. Fartlow, who is like one of the funniest pro-Israel accounts out there. Like, I obviously, given that I'm now an Amber Alert account, will be taking a very different position on Israel. So that might come as a surprise to many of you after my long coverage on Israel's war crimes and genocide. If you find myself kind of defending Israel and talking about how if you criticize Israel, you're anti-Semitic. If that shocks you at all, just know where it's coming from. It's because I'm now an Amber Alert. I am Amber Alert. I'm an Amber Heard account. So yeah. They are friends. They're best friends. Hey, anyway, that's neither here nor there though, because this is what my career was always supposed to be. Shaky Gurga's footsteps. Yeah, finish the Fear and clip, man. No, I'm not. All right. Anyway, personal news wise, yeah, I balled up. I feel a lot better. Oh my god, dude, I've been eating poorly and I have to fix that. I have to do all of that. I have to do all of that. Fix my life. Holy moly. But yeah. How's Kaya? Unfortunately, too good. Okay? Unfortunately, too good. What do I mean by this? She's now in the pocket where she's like recovering a little too well, but she still has a fat scar in the middle of her belly. So what the problem is, she wants to run. And every time she runs, I panic. And like the vet literally gave me drugs to drug her so she doesn't actually end up running around and sleeps for most of the day. The issue is, I don't know if it's because she's a big girl or I don't know what's going on, but I drug her, okay? And it doesn't do shit. The only thing the drugs are doing is it makes her a fart machine. Like, she's basically just a chemical weapon engaging in biological warfare and ruining lives, really, in this household, and wants to run all the time. It's very, very frustrating. It's kind of scary. She wants to run so much. Gabapentin makes my dog sleepy at first, but it stops after a few times. Trazodone sucks. I mean, the farting is one thing, right? The farting is one thing. It's fine. Yeah, she farts a lot. But I am actually genuinely scared about her running around. Like, she needs to stay still, right? She needs to stay still so she doesn't run around and like she doesn't run around and then open up her scar, like her surgery, like bust a stitch open, you know? I'm like genuinely scared about that. But like, it's weird because I also want her to be comfy, and I want her to be happy, and I want her to roam. I want her to run around again, you know? And so I'm in this unique predicament. Do you have a crate? I'm not going to crate her. Trazodone gave me wrath when I took it. Okay. Yeah, Lonely Viking finally completed their post. Star-Lord Hassan 2.0. Let me be clear, I'm not sexually attracted to the Soundpiker. I made this purely out of autistic solidarity. Close-ups, progress, and comparison pics below. The OG post went viral. Had like 10k likes. But this is an incredible artwork. And it's pretty sick. He saw it off stream. I'm gonna krill myself, man. I've been working on it since the 18th. I fully lost it for an hour and had to recover by transferring my PC and pirating a new art program to recover layers. I'm tired. Yeah. Retweet that ish. I did. Is there an NSFW version asking for a friend? No. Have someone take her on frequent leash walks. She can get some energy out without having to run. Yeah. Why did you post a selfie with your Santa Claus outfit? I don't know. Because I just didn't. I've been bad at being an influencer, I'll admit. I've been bad at being an influencer recently, and I'm sorry. I will get back to it. I will become better at influencing. I will be an influencer once again. Okay? Updates from Luigi Mangione. Did Russia shoot a passenger plane? Your IG post crop give me headaches. Yeah, I know. I don't really care. Influencing us on Amber Heard, yes. Ban court with the People's Defender later. The people's lawyer. Letter. Get in now. Does Russia hate Azerbaijan now? No, I don't think it's I mean, if nobody shoots passenger planes deliberately, chat. They probably fucking shot him mistakenly. It's still unacceptable. I'm just saying that, like, they have a history with that sort of thing. He said last night that he was leaving early. Who? Who was leaving early? Thinking about doing something evil today? Bro, he's always thinking about that. That's not new. Okay? Trazodone was causing me hair loss, so I stopped it. Okay, guys. I'm giving my dog drugs for 7 days that the vet gave me. Okay? You taking similar drugs and it fucking up your life is completely irrelevant to this. Okay? I'm sorry, but please stop trying to fucking do backseat veterinarian shit. Okay? Oh my lord. It's so wild. It's for 7 days, chat. Calm down, okay? Every single person wants to tell me about how they took the drugs that I'm giving my dog and speculating on what the drugs are that I'm giving my dog. I don't even know if those are the drugs. I know one of them is gabapentin. I just know that one. But, like, I don't need to hear about how these drugs have fucked your lives up, okay? And how it's going to fuck Kaya's life up as well. The only thing that I wanted to tell you, as I told you already, is that it's not working. Like, she's sleeping right now, which is good, but she runs around a little too much. My wife left me after taking trazodone. Yeah. The hardest part about this recovery process is keeping Kaya still, because she has a very cat-like quality to her, okay? As you guys know, she doesn't want to stay in place. She loves running. She loves play fighting. And basically, all of those things are a factor here. And I don't know what to do necessarily. But it's fine. At least she hasn't really been like licking the wound at all. So that's good. That's actually really good, honestly. Do not call that goddess a cat. I mean, she does have cat-like qualities. Like, what do you mean? There's nothing wrong with that. My wife's a vet tech, so please listen to what I have to say above all others. Do what your vet tells you. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to keep doing what the vet has told me and not his sick fan's delight.
You know how you instantly make people think Hasan's takes are bad? Watch.
Lines. Okay. I'm going to read this out. Luigi Mangione oddly wears matching outfit with his lawyer in New York City court hearing.
I'm
to his
joking.
Sick fans. My cats were running too much when they got spayed too. Yeah. It is so sad, but you may need to do crate or pen recovery. Yeah, I'm already doing pen recovery. This is it. Okay. I'm in a goddamn zoo over here, as you guys know. I'm in a freaking zoo over here, and she's in the zoo with me. She's already in the pen. This is the pen. My cat's dog's brother got addicted to Molly and murked a CEO. That's crazy. Okay, but if you find your baby girl, what? Dude, okay, you need to stop. China's building a dam that will generate electricity for 300 million people for $137 billion. That sounds insane. Just approved it another project of unfathomable scale, a mega dam that will generate 3 times more power than the Three Gorges, enough to meet the annual needs of over 300 million people, the equivalent of the entire US population. The project will cost an insane 1 trillion yuan, 137 billion USD, to build and will be located in the Yarlung Songpo River in Tibet Autonomous Region, which carves out the deepest canyon on Earth. What the frick? Just to highlight how insane this place is, the canyon reaches a depth of 6 kilometers at its deepest point. For comparison, the deepest point of the Grand Canyon in Arizona is 1,800 and so it's like almost 2 kilometers at its deepest point. Grand Canyon is. This one is 6 kilometers at its deepest point. For people who laughably reply that China can't do engineering right, let me remind you that they literally have 2,200 plus year old hydro project in Sichuan province called the Dushangyang, which is still active, which is still in activity today. China builds a very long term. You know what it's like when you're farting up in those planes? This is karma. Yeah, honestly, there is ventilation. There's proper ventilation. This made Mike from PA mad because we'll never have that. Yeah. I know we'll never have that. Here's a Emma.
What a preacher.
Thirst Socialism is fan cam as well. Let's take a look. Take off the pants.
We'll see.
Are you familiar with Bad Boy?
I mean, if you want.
Santa baby, I must admit that you were a dear last year. But December is here.
See.
Are you familiar with Bad Boy, O'Connor?
Yeah, are you not Bad Boy for life?
I mean, sure.
It's Cuss Daddy, dude.
It's officially time for socialism.
Yeah, we're talking.
The way it's going to work out is we have submissions on a Google Doc that you guys have already sent us. In that submission list, you also have given reasons as to why you want these items on your wish list. Now, I did a couple off stream as well after the stream was over, and I'll probably go through a little bit more on the socialismist list as well. But goddamn, dude, last year I can't remember what it was like last year, but like I don't remember last year being like every single person being like, "Oh yeah, I would like $1,000, please." people really amplified their demands this year, it seems. But yo, buy me a house unless it's or it's not real socialism. Yeah, as you guys know, I'm Mr. Fake Socialism. Also, Lolo and I are working on an IRL stream, potentially at Skid Row with one of the groups that works there. So, but it'll be like pre-vetted and stuff. We won't be like annoying nuisances to people, and we'll do it in the most ethical way possible. So that's something that we're also working on as well simultaneously. So we'll probably be doing something like that. Most likely doing something like that on the weekend. So there's that as well for those of you who are wondering. But Luigi stay in Altoona prison, plot thickens. Someone interviewed a former inmate that was here. Yeah, I know. I'm going to cover that. Hold on. Do you want me to send an update on the Panini Press and the first Panini? You already got it? I was so sad I missed a Google Doc sign up. Did you go see Nosferatu? No. I put a $300 Lego set because I'm autistic too and thought you were a gajillionaire. Stop the baldness, stolen valor. What are you talking about? Are you doing the lust or some chat as? Are you just doing the lust or some chat as well? I'm not gonna do it right now, and I might revamp it later down the line. We'll see. Oh yeah, Tyler Hitler Vera also is going back with our boy Vince Vintage on Twitter. You know, his Christmas is ruined, it seems, but you know, we'll get started there. Before I give you the Luigi Mangione updates. So he came in and was like, my response to some valid criticism I've received that finally isn't just someone calling me Hitler, which is really funny. I like that he knows that I call him Tyler Hitler Vera, and I like that is stuck, okay? Because he is, and I have no issues calling him that because that's his output. just so everybody understands. That's just his output. Okay. The YouTuber Vince Vintage spent the last 4 months going through roughly 2 years worth of my videos and produced a 49-minute video attempting to paint me as an evil supervillain. I think he didn't go hard enough, for the record. I think Vince Vintage did a very normal, I already blasted off, chatter. Here you go. By the way, let the people know that I'm live and alive. But I think Vince Vintage in his video, which we covered on the broadcast, I watched it when it first came out. I think he did a pretty decent job with his coverage, and I think it was fair. And I don't even think that he attacked Tyler on the virtues of being racist, even though there is obviously plenty of evidence to suggest that he might be. But he simply left that up to the viewer. Right? Like, and I think that's a solid way to cover this, because otherwise people immediately go, oh, you're biased. You're biased. You're biased. You're a libtard. You're biased. Like, he took a more neutral tone and was like, look, I'm not going to call him a racist. I'm just going to show you some facts about what I've seen that has rubbed me the wrong way. You know? Why'd you have to cook my boss Tadic like this? Oh, dude, this goes so hard. I have his finals mouse, by the way. I don't know if I have this one specifically, but I have one of his finals mouses that he sent me, and it's fire. It's so sick. I said, did you even watch Dune Lamau? He knew his fans wouldn't admit to the racism, so it was pointless. Brilliant on Vince's part. Yeah. So anyway, Vince, I think, did a pretty solid job of just like tackling the subject matter by looking at some of the things that Tyler Oliveira does that rub everyone the wrong way, even if you are a racist. Maybe you're a racist, but you want to have objective racism. You know what I mean? That's the beauty of tackling an issue like this from the angle of this guy's just lying. Why is it good to cover it like that? Because even racists will look at that and go, well, I don't want to be misguided. Even a racist person that watches a Tyler Oliveira video is like, well, I don't want to leave this video thinking certain things are not true. I want to make sure that my racism is 100% unfiltered and truthful. Anyway, for instance, a news clip from West Oakland, Pittsburgh made it in our video about Oakland, a New York City headline about a shooting in its final cut on a video about New Orleans, and a news clip of a troubled teen in Miami that made it into a video about Memphis. To whoever this may surprise, I have a small team that helps me edit these videos. He's just a small content creator with like 7 gorillion views, by the way. You know? He's just a small guy. He's just a little guy. You don't understand. I have an editor dedicated to placing B-roll on top of our videos to add visual aid to show examples of various things we discuss in the videos. The problem is I met him at one of the rallies that I was at, a Klan rally, which is why him and I aligned on our politics pretty aggressively. And that's the reason why anytime I talk about how black people are inherently violent, anytime I cover stories about how black people are inherently violent, lo and behold, he just finds black people being violent, but from a different place. Okay? My bad. Anyway, I like that he just turned around and was like, it's my editor's fault, not me. While it's not difficult at all to find a shot carjacking, shooting, or robbery in Memphis, for example, Vince points out a few examples of just outright incorrect B-roll placements that don't match the city in question. A handful of inaccurate B-roll shots don't invalidate any of the conversations we have, the statistics we show, or the point of a given video, but it is 100% on us that these made it to the finished product. Ultimately, everything we do is under microscopic examination, and we will most likely make mistakes like this in the future. We will be more vigilant to do our best to avoid them. He's like, I'm going to get so much better at doing racial agitprop. Trust. This is all a work in progress, and we will continue to learn from our mistakes. Thank you for all those who offer constructive feedback, and we will do our best to meet your expectations. I appreciate all of your support. Vince responded with, are you also going to blame your editors for why you baited someone with a PS5 to break into your car? And then he turned around And I think to that said, this is like blaming a rape victim for what they were wearing, which is really interesting because I think most people in Tyler Oliveira's audience would blame a rape victim for what they're wearing. And that's what's really interesting about this process. He said, this is the equivalent of blaming a woman for getting raped after she wore a dress that was too short outside. You imply criminals just can't help themselves as to break into the car the moment they see someone else's property. The entire point of the car bait was to see if someone would break in. This isn't some secret. I don't even understand your point contention here. Also, it's a TV in the car, not a PS5. So what's really interesting about this is like back in the day when Joey Salads did this, you know, mega car in the hood gone wrong. Like when he set up these fucking quote unquote pranks, he even considered them to be pranks, right? Like he did them under the guise of pranks, not objective news journalism. And Tyler, on the other hand, is claiming that he's doing objective news journalism, and this is a random car that was just like randomly standing there. Turns out it was his car. Like that's ridiculous. You're lying. You're trying to. You're not even covering up that you're lying. You're just openly fucking lying, and it's wild. But yeah, to which Vince responded with, "Hey, while I've got you here, why don't you answer these questions too? Why did you hide the fact that you shopped at a KKK memorabilia store that sells N-word repellent and passed it off as an antique store? Why did you hide the fact that you gave the most racist man in America a welcome gift you bought from the KKK memorabilia store that said N-word repellent? Why did you fabricate the story of Jamaica bank truck robbery? Why did you fabricate the story of a Christian seafood restaurant selling sex for $15 and being a brothel? Why did you pretend to be an asylum seeker to get processed by Border Patrol? Why did you pretend to be alone in the fear of your life in Jamaica? But in reality, his tour guide was right next to him. Your tour guide was right next to him. Okay, this is grammatically a little bit wonky, but why did you hide the fact that the 9/11 truther expert you brought on believed that Israel blew up the World Trade Center? Why did you hide the fact that you brought on known fraudster Darren Stalkup as your Oakland homeless expert? Little Bear, thank you for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. So I think, critical support, or not even critical, full support to Vince here on his endeavor. But why does Tyler follow us on? Because me and Boy were some of the early accounts that actually recognized that he was doing Mr. Beastified, unlimited right-wing agitative propaganda, and we had an issue with that. We took issue with that, and that was very frustrating. And I think he did not know how to react to that. And he just started saying all of these woke libtards are angry at me because I do real journalism and they don't. So, cool stuff there. Yeah, he Mr. Beastified racism, which is wild. Okay. Anyway, so let's get to, we'll talk about Elon and MAGA as well. Obviously, Elon has of course, defended H-1B visas. And this is a big problem. This is a massive problem for a lot of the racists. They're turning on Vivek as well. They're turning on everybody. Like the MAGA populists, the MAGA populists are getting very mad. Because they're like, no, you're supposed to not get immigrants to. You're supposed to not rely on immigrants on these companies. And I see the. Look, I'll dive into it a little bit because there is a lot to talk about in this regard. But first, I want to start off with Luigi Mangion. This guy actually interviewed someone who was in the Altoona, Pennsylvania prison. That talked about grooming Luigi Mangione, and grooming in the normal sense of the word, not like the grooming that I'm not talking about like Minecraft streamer style grooming. I'm talking like grooming his hair and whatnot in prison. So let's get started there.
Suddenly I'm reporting the story in real time. So I met a source who did time at the same Pennsylvania prison as Luigi, and now I think I got the story right the first time. A few days ago, someone jumped in my comments and said, I did time at SCI Huntington. It's a hardcore jail with a lot of lifers. You definitely need money and clout to get a legit cut. I said, wait, what? You were locked up at the...
Lolo posted about these TikToks and said they're dumb, haha. I mean, he did get not a fade necessarily, but he did get like a haircut, right? I mean, is that not... Didn't they fix him up a little bit? Didn't they shape him up a little bit? Like, I'm not talking about, like, you know, how these guys are lifers or it's a scary prison or whatever the fuck. Every prison is scary in the United States of America. But I suspect that even though he was mostly in solitary, or not even solitary confinement, but like the fact that he was the fact that he got like you know, his shit lined up a little bit, his eyebrows fixed up, means that someone definitely did that for him.
Anything, drugs, phone, or suggested maybe it was about Luigi's lawyer. Ryan said,
my favorite,
your lawyer doesn't do that. They can only bring you clothes, but you can request a cut. So I started talking more and more to this man in the comments and then in DM. His name is Ryan. He asked me to withhold his last name for privacy, but he sent me a picture of his prison ID, his driver's license, and an article about the crime that sent him to prison. He explained the politics of that particular prison and said that haircut was 100% a sign of respect. I 100% agree it was respect. I didn't get a decent cut for 10 years because I was broke and a nobody. Like I said, the lifers cut hair and they do everyone in the jail, so they rush you through. They cut all day. So nice cuts that take time are reserved for important people. Also, they're time, so when they do a cut like this, the guard has to be on board for it, so the barber inmate had to leverage his weight to do it. So that means some inmate who cuts hair in that prison said, I like that kid. I respect him. I'm going to make sure that he looks good when he goes to court. There was also at least one guard who said, go ahead, make it happen, but do it quick. Or something like that. Or some level of guard complicity. And where would that come from? Respect. How much does it cost for a haircut in Huntington? Ryan said, depends on the barber, but at Huntington, the currency is ice cream tickets. Ice cream tickets you use to buy soda and ice cream at Yard, but you can use them to buy anything. Drugs, phone.
This is wrong. My husband was a barber at many PA prisons. This is all bullshit. Prison and county jail aren't the same thing. You don't go to prison until after you're convicted. A source close to Luigi Mangione told the Daily Mail he got really choked up when he first saw the support he's receiving, and it gives him reassurance he will be okay. It also revealed that Luigi is sharing his commissary money with his fellow inmates. I don't know. It's TikTok, so I don't know. I'm inclined to immediately not believe it. I have this attitude that I have this blanket attitude that everything you see on TikTok is wrong. Okay. There are barbers, like actual people who have the machines that can cut your hair, but that's by appointment only, and it's not every week. So if you need to get a haircut, there are people who can do it with a comb and a razor. Jeff's take on all these videos is that it didn't mean anything beyond the barber liked him and gave him a free cut before he was about to be on TV, and that's not it meant anything about a message of the guards that he was protected. Oh, Ken also has an update on post Luigi, the extremist threat is you. Read the NYPD's Luigi Mangione report the media wouldn't publish in full. Ken Leakenstein, of course, has infiltrated and intercepted this. Is TikTok but Toure is an esteemed and respected journalist? Yeah, but still.
Or whatever. But it's what you would also pay a barber. Like, the barber can't deny to do your head, but they will just do a shit job without money or respect. I'm picturing the barber as a black man, and Ryan said that is most likely. 99% of the barbers in prison are black, he said.
Okay, a lot of this is just like, this guy wasn't there, okay? This guy was not there. The guy he's talking to was not there while this was happening. He's out of prison. So he's just talking about his own personal experiences and therefore speculating, and we're speculating on top of someone else who is speculating. So maybe we'll one day find out what the truth is. But something that we know to be true is that Luigi Mangione looked good. Luigi Mangione did get a shape up on his eyebrows and also got a shape up on his hair a little bit. Okay, he didn't get a fade, but he did get a shape up. This is true. Someone must have done it to him. Could have been the prison barber. But I feel like if that was more official, there would be more information on that. Or it could be someone in prison. But even then, we don't know because the official information that we've gotten so far is that Luigi Mangione was not allowed to be around other inmates. But it seems like someone did shape his shit up. Shrouded in white rich man privilege. No one cares. Shrouded in white rich man privilege. Oh, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Let people have things, okay? Let people have things. Don't do this annoying little like hollow identity politics thing at a moment where people are just like, yeah, I'm going to defend this guy, okay? Stop. What do you think of people saying Al-Jilani is a CEI agent? I mean, he is Al-Qaeda, so do with that information what you will. All right. Let's get started. Severe weather coast to coast threatens return for holiday travelers.
This morning, a white or wet Christmas throughout the country means millions may be dealing with a travel mess on their way home from the holidays. Millions across the South are facing severe storms, including flash flooding with as much as 4 inches of rain. And police in Sherman, Texas, with the grim task of searching for a person swept away in floodwaters. 1 body was recovered, while 4 others in the car were rescued.
The only thing that I can communicate to the public or anybody who's wanting to do more is simply pray for a quick and successful recovery.
The West Coast facing an unrelenting atmospheric river storm with powerful winds, heavy rain, and snow. In California, officials are assessing the damage after part of the Santa Cruz Pier collapsed under high surf. 3 people were plunged into the water, and authorities say a man at a nearby beach died after being trapped under debris by a wave. That wharf now closed indefinitely.
That's crazy.
Meanwhile, in the sky, travelers facing
Meanwhile, it's 64 degrees and sunny in Los Angeles, dude, where it's like, it's 64 degrees and sunny out here. Like maybe the last 2 days it was like a little gray, but that's it.
Thousands of travel delays after chaotic start to the busy holiday travel rush with a nationwide ground stop for American Airlines.
American Airlines computers are down. We're deep cleaning.
It comes amid a series of scares on airlines and in airports over the holiday. Overnight in Phoenix, police responding to reports of gunfire at Sky Harbor Airport, creating for some momentary chaos.
Okay, but you don't have to gloat. Honestly, I'm not even gloating. Like, for me, the weather being this nice in the midst of Christmas season is kind of lame. This is the one time out of the year where I kind of wish I was like at least seeing a little bit of snow. And yeah, no, it absolutely is coming from a place of weather privilege, I guess. Alaska here, it's not snowing, it's bullshit. Check your weather privilege, white man. I know.
Police say the incident happened between a group that knows each other. 4 of them were injured, 2 others detained. And in Hawaii, an investigation is underway after a body was found in the wheel well of a plane after landing in Maui from Chicago.
What the
In a
fuck?
statement, United Airlines saying in part, quote, "The wheel well was only accessible from outside the aircraft," adding it is not clear how or when the person accessed the wheel well.
Now, we have been talking about what is expected to be record-breaking holiday travel. If you are one of those travelers still taking to the skies or the roads, in terms of the airports, we expect it, of course, to be busy today, but not as busy as tomorrow or Monday is expected to be, according to TSA. And if you are taking to the roads, keep in mind, we enjoyed 2 days of minimal traffic, but AAA does say they expect that to creep back up starting today. So if you're hitting the roads, Laura, maybe pack a nice playlist so you can have your patience and enjoy nice music on the way. Laura?
That never hurts.
That's not pressurized, so at cruising altitude you can't breathe. Yeah, no, that has happened. I know. I remember watching one of those like weird TikTok like Zach B videos or whatever, where two people actually climb into the wheelbase or whatever, and then when the wheels pull in, I think one guy actually survived it. Like one guy literally survived it. I don't know how, but the other guy died, which is kind of wild. What's up? Oh, you want the phone? Here.
Marissa, thank you. Appreciate it.
Let's check in with Dylan right now. She is in for Al. Hope you had a nice Christmas, by the way, with
Zach
all the boys
D
in your...
Films. Yeah, that's the one.
Who's busy?
Trust,
I've got a lot to clean up right
for
now.
folks today?
If you are traveling, it looks fine up and down the East Coast, weather-wise at least. It's a little bit chilly, but not as cold as it has been. It's really down through Texas into eastern Oklahoma, down through Arkansas and Louisiana, and also out west. We have another storm system making its way onshore. That means rain and mountain snow. Very difficult getting through the mountain passes. We could see some delays because of the heavier rain in Seattle, also in the Portland too. Dallas and Houston, especially later on today when those storms really get going, we could see some of those delays at the airports. And again, the roads through the mountain passes, some of the snowier spots will be slick going and also slow going down south where some of that rain could be a little heavy at times. So it's this cold front that's moving eastward across eastern Texas, down through Louisiana, up across Arkansas. So as we go into this afternoon and evening, we'll start to see the heavier rain and the thunderstorms. There's also some morning fog in the Midwest that could create some slowdowns and some delays at the airports early this morning. But then as we go into tomorrow,
I do weather coverage, yes. But anyway, speaking of flights and plane travel, we're obviously going to be talking about the flight that was supposed to land in Grozny, I believe, that was shot and had to do an emergency landing in Kazakhstan. And the early indications are that Russia's air defenses potentially shot the commercial airliner.
It's Christmas morning and a passenger plane has crashed outside the city of Aktau in Kazakhstan. A woman is pulled from the wreckage, alive. Another man limps away, one of his shoes in his hand.
It's pretty wild because like half of the plane actually, like half of the people survived. Half of the people survived, which is insane. And a lot of people were commending the pilots who actually didn't end up surviving. But the speculation is that that they were shot by Russian anti-aircraft defenses, and then they were able to wildly, change altitude over and over again, and then inevitably
are you not Bad Boy for life
in Kazakhstan.
I mean, sure.
And because of that, because the heroism demonstrated by and the expertise demonstrated by the pilots, they were able to literally save half of the people on the plane.
In the background, the burning wreckage of the rest of the aircraft. Emergency services said they were able to put out the blaze quickly. 38 of the 67 people on board were
We're live.
This was an Azerbaijani plane
We're
flying
good
to
go.
Russia that crashed in Kazakhstan.
A lot of people are going to be, is this really
Authorities
live?
in
No,
all
it's not
three
really
nations are now
live. We're saying
investigating.
it's live right now
But
because we've
speculation
started.
is rising,
Yeah,
with
no,
several
it's
reports
live for
suggesting
us.
the
Look at the
aircraft
economy.
was shot down.
Yeah, it's set up, dude.
The Azerbaijan Airlines
Chris,
flight was
you've gone
traveling
dark
from the
on me,
country's
dude. I haven't heard
capital,
from you in a
Baku,
little while.
to Grozny
Dude, I
in
haven't
Chechnya,
talked.
which is
I haven't
part of the
spoken
Russian
to a
Federation.
soul
But it
in
was diverted.
3 or
The
4
Azerbaijani
days.
president had
Stop
said
rocking.
weather forced it to change course.
How have you been? How
While
how have
Russia's
you
Hey,
been?
what
civil
I said.
aviation
That's going to be
authorities said the
tough.
plane
That's going to be
was
tough.
on
On a runway. How have
The
you been
aircraft
feeling?
traveled
Thanks, man.
not-
Thanks for the
it's-
solidarity, Matt.
and crashed about 2
gliding,
miles
right?
outside.
You're not
of
hearing any.
Aktau.
It's gliding. You're not.
No,
hearing
you
anything.
look. Yeah, I saw these videos. I saw the videos
Thanks,
of
man.
like
It's good to
fucking satanic,
from
dude.
inside
1
the
minute
plane
into
and
it, he's
people
getting
just like
satanic.
filming themselves.
Yeah,
no,
I had to check out. I had to check out. Mobile phone footage showed the moments inside the plane before it crashed. Another key piece of video evidence. Today,
satanic,
four
dude. Why do you think I'm
sources
out in the
in
desert?
Azerbaijan,
I
with
know.
knowledge of the investigation, told the Reuters news agency that Russia.
Where are you?
fault.
Video right now?
Military bloggers and some
Shane?
aviation
This is
experts have been
the,
citing
yeah,
marks
this is
on
where he
the
does a
aircraft,
podcast, but this is a bar,
indicating
too.
You checked on Cutie today,
Like, this
guys.
is the...
You're insane. Okay, yeah. Ultimately, this has nothing to do with like normal commercial air travel. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, this plane didn't out of nowhere have holes materialize in them. It's very likely anti-aircraft weapons. And even then, the very fact that half of the passengers survived is yet another fucking modern marvel. And further proof that experienced pilots are incredible at their fucking jobs. Like, what are we talking about? This is straight up a miracle. You got a plane, a commercial fucking airliner that got shot with anti-air defense weapons potentially, and yet still half of the people survived it. That is insane.
Damage from anti-aircraft missiles. Ukrainian drones had reportedly been operating around Grozny, and Russia's air defense system, in shooting down those drones, could have taken down the plane too. But President Putin's spokesman said it would be wrong to put forward any theories before investigators make their verdict.
Why would they shoot it though? High alert because of drones. I mean, this has happened before. Here's the video from inside the plane, by the way. Moments before the crash landing.
Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber. Sabaha 20 nefer gelsin. Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber. La ilahe illallah. Allahu Ekber.
Do we know what they're saying? Yeah, he's praying. And he survived actually, I think. Yeah, he It's wild, dude. It's fucking insane.
Ama eylesin ayaküstü durmak olmaz. Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber.
Yeah, he's saying the Shahada because he thinks he's going to die, and he survived, by the way.
Hamı kemerlerini bağlasın. Hürmetli sərnişinlər, təlimata uyğun hareket edin, her şey yaxşı olacak. Ama eylesin ki
It's the Azeri language is a Turkic language as well. So like the person speaking over the person that's like, I think she's speaking over the intercoms is literally speaking in like Azeri, and I can kind of pick up on what she's saying.
kemerini bağlasın. Dəhlizdə durmuyor.
I think she's saying like talimata uygun hareket edin, her şey güzel olacak. Yeah, I think she's saying something along the lines of like stay calm and follow protocol and everything will be fine, and that keep your seatbelts fastened.
Eylesin, kemerini bağlasın. Dəhlizdə
Yeah, kemerini bağlansın is a seatbelt.
durmuyor. Tehlikelidir.
Yeah, she says it's dangerous to stand in the cabin. This is wild. This is like after the crash. Wait, let me see if there's TOS here.
Что, женщина, можем встать? Сейчас.
Okay, yeah, no, there's no TOS. He just like... Yeah, the man who filmed the video for his wife as the Azerbaijan Airlines fell from the sky miraculously survived filmed another video showing the apparent shrapnel damage. It is now suspected that the plane crashed after being hit by Russian air defenses. Subkhan Rakimov, the man who filmed the video, shared footage of the damage towards the rear of the plane. Reports say Russian air defenses hit the plane thinking it was a Ukrainian drone. Only 29 people survived, or more than 29 people survived, I think, but...
Allahu Akbar.
Like, look at the back. A passenger jet-sized drone. Yeah, no, I think that they are on high alert because of the drone strikes. And I mean, this isn't like, obviously, you know, this is obviously not defending anything. I know that people have no capacity to understand when I talk about these things, but yeah, it seems that the pilots were able to save a lot of fucking lives, dude. It's crazy. What is this? Fitech says sources Euronews. Breaking: Russian surface-to-air missile caused the Azerbaijan Airlines plane crash on Wednesday, according to Azerbaijani government sources from Euronews. Government sources have told Euronews that the damaged aircraft was not allowed to land at any Russian airports despite the pilot's request for an emergency landing, and it was ordered to fly across the Caspian Sea towards Aktau in Kazakhstan. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. The pilots did die, yes. How the fuck did it get hit with a SAM and not immediately go down? I don't think it was a surface-to-air missile. I don't think it was a surface-to-air missile. I think that if it was, it would have been over. If it was a surface-to-air missile, the plane would have, you know, it would have exploded in the air. What are you? It's most likely anti-aircraft, like some kind of anti-aircraft weapon, but I don't think it was a. No, dude. It was surface-to-air missile. They work in a way people misunderstand. They track targets and explode, shooting out shrapnel with shreds planes and drones. They don't just rip things apart. I haven't seen any videos of the. I haven't seen videos from outside the plane, like where the pilots are trying to control it. He got out and is instantly filming close up. AA rounds off and explode in the air near their targets, as seen by the shrapnel in the hole here. It's not a missile itself penetrating the plane. You're all saying flag, but that's not my kind of autism, so I don't know what that means. Anyway, we'll get more information from official sources in a little bit. But I just wanted to give you an update. I don't know what happened, okay? But the highest likelihood scenario is that Russia most likely shot it.
As Azerbaijan observes a national day of mourning, the flowers and tears will mount, as will the questions and recriminations for a crash currently without an official cause.
We do begin this hour overseas, where 38 people aboard an Azerbaijan Airlines flight were killed yesterday. The plane was traveling from Baku, the capital of Azerbaijan, to Grozny, Russia, when the pilots tried to make an emergency landing and crashed in Kazakhstan. Miraculously, 29 people survived that. Now there are questions about why the plane was diverted and whether Russian air defenses are to blame. CBS News foreign correspondent Chris Livesay has the latest.
Well, there are indeed new developments in the plane crash in Kazakhstan.
This is literally my worst nightmare right now as I'm about to fly back into the U.S., always sit in the back of the plane. Dude, what do you mean this is your worst nightmare? Do you think that a fucking anti-aircraft Do you think that like anti-aircraft flak is going to target your plane? Well, like, what are you talking about? Are you going to be flying over Russian airspace, chatter? Are you flying over a war zone? Like, motherfuckers would be like, I'm flying from Ohio to Idaho, and I'm terrified. Like, do you... Guys, please, you know, this is not a common thing, okay? Air travel is unimaginably safe. The very fact that half of the people survived this crash landing due to the expertise of the pilots who did not survive themselves is further evidence of how safe commercial airline travel is in general. It's wild that you're like, oh, dude, I'm fucking flying over, you know, Idaho airspace. It's going to be really tricky.
Kazakhstan, as investigators now suspect Russian anti-aircraft.
We did have people shooting drones. No, that is also not the same. The likelihood that you will be able to shoot a plane with a regular small arms fire, the fact that you'll be able to shoot a plane out of the air is insanely unlikely, okay? What are you talking about? It's damn near impossible. Why the fuck are there anti-aircraft weapons then? If everyone could just like shoot planes directly out of the sky with small arms, with like a 9mm or an AR-15. What do you mean? A plane cruising at fucking altitude is very, very unlikely to actually get shot down with small arms gunfire. Okay, you would literally have to aim so far ahead and track it with perfect accuracy. Not only that, but also, even then, the likelihood that a couple bullet holes, if you even were able to shoot the plane, is going to destroy the plane is highly unlikely. That's number one. The most likely thing that will happen if someone were to try to shoot at a plane thinking it's a fucking drone is that those bullets would land and accidentally hurt like a child or something. It's unreal how skilled those dudes were. There was a similar incident in the U.S. caused by mechanical failure. They also managed a crash landing that stayed about half when others tried to replicate that in a simulator. Literally, no one could do it without a total crash. Unreal skill level. Yeah.
Aircraft defenses may have been involved. This theory emerged after radar data revealed missile activity in the area at the time of the crash. While Russia has yet to comment, aviation experts say this could point to a misfire. Authorities in Kazakhstan are working with Russian investigators, but tensions are rising over who will lead that inquiry. The Embraer 190 jet went down on Christmas Day just off the Caspian Sea in Kazakhstan. Rescuers described a chaotic scene as they pulled survivors from the wreckage, some of them missing their shoes. The jet split in half and flipped upside down and laid scattered across the ground with debris and casualties stretching for
max vertical range of 556 is 10,000 feet, so planes are definitely safe.
Hundreds of feet in this remote part of Central Asia. Meanwhile, search teams have recovered critical components of the aircraft, including the black boxes, which are expected to...
I missed the footage of the crash landing. Wait.
190 jet went down on Christmas Day just off the Caspian Sea in Kazakhstan. Rescuers described a chaotic scene as they pulled survivors from the wreckage, some of them missing their shoes.
That's insane that like half of the people in this plane survived. That's crazy.
critical components of the aircraft, including the black boxes, which are expected to provide more answers in the coming days. Now, the model of jet, the ERJ-190, is made by a Brazilian company. JetBlue is the biggest American company that uses this model, but it had already said it was planning on retiring this model of jet next year.
Why are they even talking about that? Like, as though the fucking model of the jet has anything to do with this. Elint News, who is more knowledgeable on this stuff, says most likely surface-to-air missile from air defenses. The shrapnel markings holes on the fuselage are pretty consistent with air defense fragmentation. What did the Russians say? Russians said it was bird damage? Yeah, okay. Increasing speculation in Russian media that the Baku-Grozny Azerbaijan Airlines flight was shot down by Russian air defenses that mistook it for a Ukrainian drone. Footage of the damage to the fuselage. Yeah. Yeah, some real strong bird power over here. Birds at 90. Yeah, this is the markings of a beak of a bird that grew up near the Chernobyl exclusion zone, I think. That can fly up to 1,000 miles an hour. The up-down oscillating in the flight data indicates they were steering and or controlling altitude almost entirely by changing engine thrust, so spooling the engine higher on one side of the turn / increasing, decreasing thrust to climb or descend. Control in air is possible doing this, but landing is almost impossible because if you throttle back enough to land safely, the nose dips and you go down hard. Nowhere near close to that, Hasan. Yeah, I'm fucking being sarcastic, chatter. Obviously, it's not birds. Are you insane? Look at this. None of this looks like... A bird can't do any of this, dude. What are you talking about? First of all, even if a bird was... Like, birds sometimes accidentally hit planes. That happens. Okay, they get caught up in the motor or whatever. But like, they can't take down a plane. Okay, and also hitting the plane from the side would be impossible for a bird. I feel like that is the engine. Yes, not the motor. Whatever. The bird would not be able to. The bird would not be able to hit the plane from the side, regardless. You know, because the plane is flying much faster than a bird could. Why am I even entertaining this? God, it's so stupid. Let's just continue.
Back to you.
The video of that is just so disturbing and scary. Well, this is people gathering for a moment of silence honoring the victims today at the Baku airport where the plane first took off.
We start this hour with developing news on the plane crash in Kazakhstan. Reuters is now reporting that 4 sources in Azerbaijan say the aircraft was downed by Russian air defense systems. 38 people were killed when the Azerbaijan Airlines plane crashed in the city of Aktor. Earlier, all 4 of Moscow's airports were closed. They've now reopened, but no reason has been given.
We saw all this already.
It has heard calming passengers and urging them to wear their seatbelts. The Azerbaijan Airlines plane was carrying 67 people in all from Baku in Azerbaijan, flying along the western shore of the Caspian Sea to Grozny, which is in the Chechen area of southern Russia. Russian news agencies said the flight was rerouted due to fog and it came down on the opposite shore in Aktor in Kazakhstan. Let's go to Rob Harris, who's in the newsroom. And Rob, what's the latest then on these reports coming out of Russia that seem to suggest that it wasn't bad weather, it wasn't a malfunction or a bird strike, but it could have been a Russian air defense system that brought the plane down?
Yes, these claims casting doubt on one of those official allegations from Russia that there was indeed a bird strike. And if you see the images of the plane, there did appear to be signs of, from the face of it, bullets or indeed shrapnel that hit the plane. And we are now hearing from the sources in Azerbaijan, talking to the Reuters news agency, believing that Russian air defences were responsible. They are trying to repel drones from Ukraine as the war does go on. And one of those sources saying that this preliminary investigation is pointing to the communication systems also being paralysed by electronic warfare systems on that approach into Grozny. Now, this source is very clear to say that no one is claiming it was done on purpose, but it does cast into doubt those claims from the Russian side. And we did see this plane that did
anti-Russian propaganda. I mean, it's no, that's ridiculous. It's not. You're being ridiculous. That is the most ridiculous thing to claim here. No. What the fuck are you saying? Look, we don't know what the official events are, okay? But most of the verified information that's come out of this story so far indicates, especially when you look at the damage, like it's very likely that it was shot down by Russian anti-aircraft weapons, and part of the reason why the Russian anti-aircraft weapons were even on high alert is because of the consistent drone activity. I assume that is part of the reason why, but it's ridiculous that you think that this is like anti-Russian propaganda. No, it's very, very, very likely that, I mean, it's almost, I don't know, it's almost impossible that this would be anything other than Russian anti-aircraft weapons.
Veer off course for several hundred miles yesterday when it was heading from the Azerbaijani capital, Baku, to the Russian city of Grozny. Now, the initial thoughts from the Azerbaijani president was the fact weather might be to blame. Then Russia's aviation watchdog did talk about an emergency landing being attempted due to the bird strike. But then this steep descent did was seen before the plane did crash to the ground. Now, it has been a day of official mourning today across Azerbaijan. National flags were lowered, signals sounded from ships and trains, and a moment of silence was observed nationwide. And beyond Azerbaijan as well, there are investigations taking place. One aviation security firm, Osprey Flight Solutions, said that they've actually issued more than 200 alerts regarding drone attacks and air defense systems in Russia during the war. But as for the official word from the Kremlin, they're still saying that the investigation is ongoing, that it should be.
I'm no Russophile, but how is that weapons damage? I'd imagine if something was shot, the plane would have exploded in the air. No, I don't. I also thought, I mean, there are different kinds of anti-aircraft weapons. Like there's missile systems that directly target the flying planes. And then there's like, it seems like there's the explosive shrapnel, like a shotgun blast as well. And this seems more consistent with the latter rather than the former, where it's just flak, like shrapnel that explodes near the plane.
Something that the special aviation authorities should be behind. There shouldn't be any hypothesis that this.
Even with larger surface-to-air missiles like Patriot aircrafts can survive without disintegrating. First image of the damaged IL-22M appeared. It was able to land in Anapa, but the tail is heavily damaged. The plane wasn't that damaged, it seems. It was damaged enough to warrant an emergency landing, but it was denied and had to reroute far away, by which time it was too late. Yeah, it's interesting because even pro-Russian Telegram channels are reporting that this was most likely Russian anti-aircraft weapons. Surface-to-air missiles are often proximity weapons, so they explode when sensors on board detect that they are close to the target, as it's very hard to hit a target directly. This is a different plane, by the way, that was shot with anti-aircraft weapons. But I'm using this as an example of what it looks like when you get hit with anti-aircraft weapons. And it doesn't mean that the entire plane is going to disintegrate. As a matter of fact, the reason why the plane broke off is because of the crash landing and not because of the explosive ordnance anyway.
Early stage. So that's certainly the message from the Kremlin. Indeed, Vladimir Putin speaking yesterday saying that he'd sent the condolences and offered help with the investigation. But from Reuters sources, they are certainly saying that they do believe that Russian air defences were responsible for the downing of the plane, with 38 of 67 people on board killed. And we have heard from the survivors, some of them who actually were filming the scenes of the plane as they managed to miraculously escape.
Yes, and Rob, we've just in the past few moments already been speaking. The Kazakh vice premier has said today there is no official explanation as of yet as of what happened. But look, given Russia's situation with Ukraine, given the history itself, which it hasn't exactly been the most peaceful, stable place the past couple of decades, and that's where the flight was heading to, people are inevitably going to ask questions about this being something other than, as I said at the start there, and as you just reminded people, a bird strike or a malfunction of some description. People are going to perhaps zone in on those other possibilities as we are experiencing right now.
Yeah, and one expert I've been speaking to suggesting actually could be questions over the competence of those Russian air defences in terms of dealing with the situation. For many, it will bring back memories as well of Malaysian flight MH17 from 10 years ago. That was shot down over Ukraine. A reminder, of course, that this war has been going on for 10 years. A lot of focus, obviously, on the full-scale invasion for the last 2.5 years, but it shows the...
There's also additional attacks that Russia engaged on Ukraine on Christmas Day with a wave of airstrikes as well.
This morning, Ukraine's still reeling from a massive Christmas Day drone and missile attack by Russian forces. At least 6 people killed in strikes like this in Kharkiv, officials say. While in the capital, thousands of families spending Christmas seeking safety in the subway. It's scary to stay at home, so we came to the shelter, says this mom. Russia is once again targeting the energy grid, Ukraine says, leaving 500,000 people without power in the depths of winter. President Zelensky saying Putin deliberately chose Christmas for an attack. What could be more inhumane? And President Biden calling the attack outrageous, vowing to surge U.S. weapons to Ukrainian forces. But nearly 3 years into this grinding war, Ukraine is losing ground in the east and struggling to hold territory it captured inside Russia, where Putin's forces are supported by thousands of troops from North Korea. Also bracing to see if Donald Trump will try to end the war, and on what terms.
Gotta be a deal. Too many people being killed.
But on the front lines in Donetsk, Ukrainian soldiers celebrating Christmas with their comrades and saying they're not giving up. We can't be with our families right now, but we're united by our military.
Speaking of which, of course, Israel also engaged in its own killing spree as well. And is continuing right now in North Gaza. Trey Yinks, the Fox News foreign correspondent, was saying that the weapons being used in North Gaza as of a couple hours ago were so powerful that they could be heard. The strikes could be heard from Tel Aviv. On top of that, Israel also struck Sana'a and numerous other targets in Yemen as well.
Military family, he says. In his Christmas Day address in Rome, the Pope appealing for a ceasefire not just in Ukraine, but also in Gaza, where Israeli strikes continued over Christmas. And just a few hundred Christians remain in what was once a vibrant community. While Israeli hostage families marking a second Hanukkah without their loved ones.
Now, both Israel and Hamas are publicly accusing each other of making new last-minute demands, which are slowing down ceasefire negotiations. But there is a sense of urgency here, with President-elect Trump saying there will be, quote, hell to pay if there is not a deal in place by the time of his inauguration on January 20th.
The WHO chief was literally in the same airport that Israel bombed in Sana'a today. I haven't seen that.
Raf Sanchez there for us again this morning in Israel. Raf, thank you.
Hey, thank.
But yeah, here it
Israel
is.
has
Israeli
been
airstrikes
carrying
are
out
hitting Yemen's main international airport in Sana'a.
Strikes across Yemen, including on the international airport in the capital, Sana'a. The head of the World Health Organization, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, was at the airport about to board a flight when it...
That is crazy. Israeli strikes his international airport with WHO chief inside. At least 3 people were killed and nearly a dozen injured after Israeli airstrikes struck multiple targets controlled by the Houthi movement in Yemen. The international airport in the capital, Sana'a, which is like, by the way, a crazy way to report that Israel struck the commercial airport, like the civilian commercial airport in Sana'a, as the Houthi movement controlled target in Yemen. Okay? It's like striking JFK and being like controlled by the Brandon regime. Israel struck numerous targets controlled by the Biden regime, and the targets are fucking, JFK airport. That's crazy. That's a crazy way to cover that. Anyway, Sana'a was hit with the head of the World Health Organization, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, was boarding a plane. Benjamin Netanyahu said the Israeli strikes would continue until our job is done.
came under Israeli attack. He was not injured. The Israeli military says it has been targeting the Houthis, the rebel group backed by Iran. Houthi rebels say 3 people were killed in the strikes. Houthi fighters in Yemen have targeted Israel and ships in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden in solidarity with...
Yeah. The wire broken. The attack is now taking place in broad daylight. 3 main goals. Sana'a airport shut down. Power plants in Sana'a destroyed. Hodeidah seaport shut down again. Not a normal attack. The opening of a campaign that may be prolonged. And the reason why they're doing that, I suspect, is because Yemen has been utilizing weapons that can actually pass through the Iron Dome and directly strike Tel Aviv, which they have deployed on Tel Aviv numerous times at this point. And that is the reason why they're trying to pummel Yemen into submission to stop them from continuing to penetrate the Iron Dome.
Palestinians in Gaza. Meanwhile, in central Gaza, health officials say 5 journalists have been killed by an Israeli strike. The strike hit a marked broadcast van outside Al-Oda Hospital in the Nusayrat refugee camp.
Israel also has increased its... Israel, once again, striking journalists directly. Another thing that they started doing is claiming that these guys are doing war propaganda when they kill them. Which is unique. Anyone that covers Israel's atrocities are now considered to be doing pro-Hamas war propaganda, which means that they're killing journalists and directly saying that they're killing journalists, not even lying and saying that, oh, these guys are actually a part of the Al-Qassam brigades or a part of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad movement or anything like that. In the past, they would just lie and say that these guys that they're killing, these journalists that they're killing, they are killing because, they would just lie and claim that these guys were like aligned with Palestinian Islamic Jihad or the Al-Qassam brigades or whatever. Now they're not even doing that. They're just openly saying we're killing them because of their journalism. Because their journalism happens to be, their journalism happens to make Israel look bad, which is an incredible admission, in my opinion. Like, that is wild. That is wild that they're openly stating that they are engaging in, a war crime. Like, they have always actively killed journalists, as I've covered time and time again. But in the past, they would at least lie about why they were killing the journalists, claiming without any real evidence whatsoever that these journalists were actually a part of, enemy combatant movements. Now they're just openly saying that they're doing it because of their journalism. And it's interesting. It's different than before. I think that the cruelty has escalated. Following the Israeli strikes on Yemen, Defense Minister Israel Katz says Israel will hunt down the leaders of the Houthis. We saw precise action by the Israeli Air Force hitting strategic Houthi targets in Yemen at the airport and at the port, Katz says in a video from the Israeli Air Force's underground command center at the military headquarters in Tel Aviv. As we said, whoever strikes Israel, we will strike them. We will also hunt down all the Houthi leaders, hit them as we have done elsewhere, he says. No one will be able to evade Israel's long arm.
One of the journalists had been expecting the birth of his child. The Israeli military said those killed were members of a terrorist cell. Well, let's speak to our news correspondent, Shaima Khalil, who is in Jerusalem for us. Hello to you, Shaima. Just take us through what we know about these strikes in Yemen.
We've seen very dramatic footage from inside Sana'a International Airport of people running in a panic with their luggage in their trolleys, some of them trying to leave the building through a gate, others running in different directions. We also saw one from outside the building showing smoke rising. And in the last hour or so, we've also been getting reports that commercial flights are still landing in Yemen airport despite reports of damage to the facility. We're getting reports and an image of an Airbus A320 of the Yemeni Airlines aircraft landing there. We heard from the head of the WHO, the World Health Organization, Tedros Ghebreyesus, who said that he was in the airport when the strike happened, that he was about to board a plane when the airport was struck, and that resulted in one of the air crew members being injured not very far from where his group were sitting. He said he was okay. We also had confirmation from the Israeli army, the IDF, who said that they struck targets used by the Iran-backed group to smuggle Iranian weapons into the region. We know that the airport in Sana'a was hit, but also other targets in the Red Sea port city of Hodeidah. The Israeli military targeted hit two power stations. It's
pretty wild. I mean, yeah, when you hit a civilian airport, you are directly putting civilians' lives at harm. This time it included someone from the World Health Organization, the leader, the chief of the World Health Organization, which is crazy.
Key ports as well. This is the second Israeli strike in less than a week on Houthi targets in Yemen, as this month has seen a significant increase of Houthi launched missiles and drones on Israeli territory. One of them injured more than a dozen people when it landed in Tel Aviv on Saturday. The Houthis have vowed time and time again to continue these missile launches, to continue attacking Israeli territory until the end of the war in Gaza. And in the past few days, we've heard a more determined Israeli leadership, if you will. We've heard the Prime Minister and we've heard the Israeli Defense Minister saying that they're going to go after the Houthi targets in Yemen, but also the Houthi leadership the same way they went after Hamas and Hezbollah leadership as well.
Get ready for Israel accusing him of being part of the Houthis for being in Yemen. Yeah. I mean, they don't really give a shit. If they end up killing him, they'll say, well, shouldn't have been there. What is the purpose of the World Health Organization being in Sana'a? I mean, that is obviously it's I don't know how to explain this to you. Like, there is major health complications happening in Yemen. It's one of the poorest countries, bombed into oblivion. There was a fucking Saudi-backed genocide that occurred, America-backed Saudi-led genocide until not that long ago. It's a part of the fucking world. There is an ongoing humanitarian crisis in Yemen, as always. So, of course, the World Health Organization is going to go there. So, this is a article that just came out earlier today from the New York Times that I actually tweeted about as well. Part of the article is, this is New York Times engaging in what I call ass covering to make sure that they can hold on to whatever shred of credibility that they have. Okay? And they do this every now and then. Oftentimes, if they ever cover it at all, they are far too late to the game. The article itself featured some of the Plus 972 magazine reporting on Lavender, the AI targeting system, which they literally said had not been previously reported, even though it had been previously reported, and they know that it had been previously reported because they utilized the local call in 972 magazine reporting later in this article itself. In each strike, the order said officers had the authority to risk killing up to 20 civilians. The order, which has not been previously reported, had no precedent in Israeli military history. Mid-ranking officers had never been given so much leeway to attack so many targets, many of which had lower military significance at such high potential civilian cost. Except it had been previously reported months ago by Yuval Abraham and his reporting at 972 magazine, something that I covered out here as well. We're going to look at the full article in a brief moment and the genocide apologia that they engage in within the article itself, while also simultaneously still, like I said, burying the lead a little bit. I said, this is insane. There are investigative reporters uncovering this horrors months ago. People like myself have also tried to show this to the broader Western audience. New York Times is just incredibly late to the story. Sometimes they never even get there. Truly upsetting. But yeah, this is the article. How Israel weakens civilian protections when bombing Hamas fighters. An investigation by the New York Times has found that Israel, in the weeks after Hamas' October 7 attack, severely undermined its system of safeguards that make it easier to strike Gaza and used flawed methods to find targets and assess the risk of civilians. Now, what's interesting about this is that even here, even in this article, like the ultimate goals of Israel, which are genocidal, and this is not just my assessment at this point. This is Amnesty International, okay? This is numerous NGOs, both Israeli NGOs and NGOs that work around the globe. Okay, Hasan, you stink fuck your race. I hope you kill yourself. Okay. This is like old school. This is some old school ass shit right here. Respect to this chatter for hitting me with some like super old school racism. Like old school as in like early 2000s era, early 2000s era level of like schizo posting in here. Good shit. Merry Christmas to this chatter. Just know that even if you felt like you were alone on Christmas or in the aftermath of Christmas, you are nowhere near as sad and as pathetic as this person, who will most likely be banned site-wide for saying this. Yeah. I've seen the chatter on other people's channels too. Some vintage racism right after during the holiday season. Okay. But as I was saying, the article in and of itself is also still saying like, oh, well, this is a war that Israel's waging against Hamas, but it's actually having a hard time. Oh, he already lost the account. It already got fucking perma-site banned. Nice. I don't know why people write stuff like this, because obviously they're going to get perma-banned. But in any case... Doors open. Uh-oh. Murat! Go get the food. He's leaving. Oh. Doors open. Morale will order food and then. Anyway, every Christmas we break out the old Catholic ornaments. Can you follow races? We're bringing the old racism back. Yeah. Zana Saeed says, genocide manufacturing in denial is the editorial mandate of the New York Times. Palestinian civilians aren't collateral damage. They are the target in an explicit campaign of extermination that has also been recognized by every major human rights group and genocide scholar. New York Times dropped this article a day after 5 journalists were targeted and killed in an Israeli airstrike on their clearly marked press van. Loosens rules, though. And it's kind of crazy because this article not only is too little too late, but beyond the fact that it's too little too late, is still serving the purpose of making it seem as though Israel is simply just trying to combat Hamas and punish Hamas for October 7, for the crimes of October 7, when in fact, that's not the sole purpose. The real purpose of Israel's military campaign here is ethnic cleansing and ethnic displacement. That much is clear, and it's not just my assessment of the matter. Like I said, virtually every single human rights group has also come to that conclusion. A system of mass starvation and death and destruction and complete destruction of the entirety of the civilian infrastructure with the hopes of permanent annexation and mass relocation and repopulating parts of the Gaza Strip with Israeli settlers. Here are some of the main takeaways from the investigation. Raised threshold for civilian harm per preemptive strike. Expanded list of targets. Lifted caps on how many civilians could be endangered each day. Struck too fast to vet all targets properly. Often relied on outdated intelligence. Used artificial intelligence to help search targets. Often dropped large inaccurate bombs. Frequently used a crude risk assessment. Once again, this is not simply Israel going, oops, we actually changed it. We actually changed our targeting capabilities. This is a deliberate attempt to kill as many people while still shrouded under the auspices of international rules of conflict. Okay? Just letting you know. If they pivot to criticizing Israel's attacks as soon as Trump comes into office, they really will just be a Democrat platform. Do you guys understand what the problem is here? Do you understand like what my issue is with this coverage? Claiming that this is simply a mistake is not correct. Claiming that this is simply a mistake and not a deliberate campaign of ethnic cleansing, okay, is still manufacturing consent to make it seem as though Israel is just simply applying artificial intelligence in its targeting systems as a mistake that has caused a tremendous amount of a mistake that has caused a tremendous amount of accidental collateral damage, and not a system of mass starvation, mass displacement with the overt purpose of engaging in ethnic cleansing. It serves the purpose of defending the higher-ups from additional legal scrutiny and manufacture consent at the behest of Israel, that they're simply trying but failing to create a security corridor. Okay? This is not a mistake. These are not simple mistakes and accidents. This is deliberate. It is manufactured chaos. A lot of people will point to like the World Central Kitchen and say the World Central Kitchen bombing, for example, and in order to defend Israel's actions, say, oh, it's just like people getting out of control. You know, people not listening to there's a failure of communication with the higher chain of command in terms of targeting. That's not the case. Okay? It is deliberate. It is a killing field deliberately created so that people can turn around and say, oh, there's just like mistakes along the line. Okay? These are not coincidences. These are not unlucky instances. These are This is deliberately created in a way so that you can kill as many people as possible. That's it. So yeah. It is kind of crazy that they just they took this long to even cover it. And even in their coverage, they're still offering protection to and offering credence to the arguments that claim plausible deniability. There's no way to look at this other than the New York Times deliberately trying to defend Israel still. Okay. Meanwhile, Haaretz had an incredibly damning article. The editorial board tore the original article apart. Yeah. Meanwhile, on the one hand, New York Times is still trying to desperately grab onto any sense of like credibility that they have by at least sometimes covering shit like this months too late. But while they're doing that, on the other hand, the editorial board is just like running full-scale defense and full-scale propaganda at the behest of Israel very deliberately and very directly. It's totally, utterly ridiculous. Anyway. There was a take from, Noah. Reading the New York Times is crazy making because they'll have a story detailing the genocide that some of the same reporters/editors denied months ago, and which others in the paper used the NYT editorial real estate to still deny. Yeah. Do they get paid or do they just love Israel? No, they don't get paid. There is no direct compensation for defending Israel. It doesn't work that way. It's just that Israel's goals of ethnic cleansing align with America's top-down State Department goals in the region, and therefore you get elevated if you play ball. And in many circumstances, as Noam Chomsky has correctly pointed out time and time again, you don't even know that you're deliberately doing this. You get to the point that you're in media. You get elevated to a point in media because you authentically and organically have these opinions. Okay? That's it.